Welcome, everybody, to the U16 pod. I'm Ryan MacArthur.
And I'm Connor Williams. And on the last episode of the U16 pod, we had the chance to talk to a couple players in Nicholas Iafredi from the Don Mills Flyers U16 AAA program and Daniel Vasic from the York Simcoe Express U16 AAA program. So if you haven't checked out that episode, be sure to check it out because in addition to those two interviews, we also recapped a couple great tournaments in Barrie and at Clash in the YGK tournament that happened in Kingston. So be sure to check that episode out if you haven't listened to it or watched on YouTube yet. So check that one out. But for today's episode, we're going to cover a couple more leagues that we haven't actually covered in the first couple episodes. I'd be remiss to we've been remiss to talk about, to be honest. And the first league we're going to talk about here is the Great North Midget League with a fair bit of 06s playing with the U18, U16 teams as well. I got three teams here. We're got it going up in the Great North Midget League. First off, I got the Sioux Junior Greyhounds U18 program. I got five 06 players who have been playing up there with the U18 team. We saw Cooper Foster and Lincoln Moore, who we had on the pod last year. They were up with the U18 squad last year. Alex Ferran played with Sudbury last year, so they got the U18 league going on up there. So first off, Jacob Smith, he's got 3 points in 5 games with the Sioux. Gage Evans, Callum McCauley, Gabe Palumbo, and Cole Cond. Gabe Palumbo has 5 points. Cole Cond has 4 points. Each through 5 games. A couple players making an impact up there in the Sioux for them. And then moving on, Sudbury U16. Sudbury, one of the top U16 teams from the north there. We got 5 players here. A couple of players right off the bat. One player here actually, who I was talking to, a good friend of mine, Gavin Chason, who's from up north there. Yeah. He had the chance to watch a game that Sudbury played in. It was a Sudbury U16 for Sudbury U18. And the Sudbury U16 team, one player who stood out and has been standing out is Nolan Newton. He's the second in league, actually tied for first in league scoring, and that includes both the 04s and 05s in there too. So an 06 tied. There's actually, I'll comment on another player soon, but 2 06s tied for top in league scoring there in the Great North Midget League. So first off, Nolan Newton from the Sudbury U16 team there. He's got 5 goals, 3 assists for 8 points in 6 games played. Then I got Carter Daniluk from Sudbury, 3 goals, 4 assists, 7 points. Tyson Risman, goal, 5 assists for 6 points. Caden Dubriel, 4 points there, 2 goals, 2 assists. And then I got Tyler Thompson, 2 goals, 2 assists for 4 points there. Sudbury's off to a great start in the Great North Midget League. And they'll actually be at the Silver Six. So we're really looking forward to checking out the Sudbury U16 team. Really kind of do their thing at the Silver Stick there. So we're looking forward to checking them out there. And moving on there to another team with some 06s. I got North Bay Trappers U16 team here. Nate Gravel. He's tied with Nolan Newton for 8 points in the league scoring. So unlike Newton, this guy has 3 goals, 5 assists for 8 points. And a few other guys here. Anthony Boys and Mason Ray each have 6 points. And then you got Zachary Major and Aiden Thompson. Both have 5 points each. So with that being said, though, as I look at the league scoring in the Great North Midget League, here's how it plays out here. You got Nate Gravel and Nolan Newton tied at 8 points apiece. And then you got Carter Daniluk with 7 points. And Anthony Boys and Mason Ray each have 6 points. But I know Mason Ray's a guy you and I got the chance to see, and you especially liked him when you got to see him at draft day, I believe, Ryan.
Yeah, definitely. Like you were mentioning before, Great North Midget League, it's a little tough for us geographically living down where we live. Like I'm in kind of Burlington, you're in Mississauga, and you're also in Niagara for school. So get up there for games is tough. So we're going to have to really be tracking these teams hard at the tournaments coming up. But Mason Ray, you mentioned from North Bay, really good player. I saw him at draft day. I thought, like, just in terms of that overall team, I thought he was the best player on the team. Skates really well, really fast, and kind of slippery and elusive with the puck. Good puck skills, good hands. And he plays the body, like he plays the game the right way, gets in there hard in the forecheck. And so I really like Mason Ray. Like we were kind of going through this in our prep before recording, like I was like, that's one name that really stood out for me because he was the guy kind of on that draft day team, that North draft day team that really stood out for me. The other one that you mentioned that I thought was a really good player in just summer looks. I'm not sure if I saw him at draft day, but I've seen him a few times. Zachary Major, the defenseman
Oh
on
yeah.
North Bay. He's big. He's a big, strong D man, and he's tough to play against. Like he makes it really tough on opponents. OHL teams are gonna like that. They're gonna like that skill set he brings with that physicality and that strength. And he's a brute. He's brute force. And so those are two guys in this Great North Midget League that, just in my limited viewings of these players up there, that have really stood out for me.
No, that's great to hear. And just with respect to Nolan Newton, when I was talking to Gavin, he was one thing he communicated to me was that this kid, every time he stepped on the ice, Nolan Newton, he was making an impact. And
Yeah.
guys, every time, it's funny, the U18s, they were playing the Sudbury U18 team in that game he was talking to me about, and Sudbury U18 scored, and right after they stuck the U16 team stuck Newton on. As soon as they stuck him on, bang, there was a goal back in the net. It was like, okay, there's your response. So Nolan Newton, I love the two players you just mentioned there. With some great analysis there from you, Ryan. So tremendous job there. But just a little update on the Great North Midget League there from the U16 pod, because like Ryan mentioned, it's not exactly easy to get up north there. So we'll definitely, like Ryan mentioned, we definitely want to be sure we're checking them out um, at the upcoming tournaments and all that. And as for, actually, before we jump into the next league, as for another northern team, the Thunder Bay Kings, we're definitely gonna jump into some coverage of them next episode because they're gonna be making an appearance in the GTHL next weekend. So they got a tough couple games in the GTHL to start though. They get the JRC and Marlboros for their first two games, so not exactly an easy start for them, but it'll be good to see them in the GTHL. Good to kind of see them jump in the G, see how they do and all that. I know they're a tough team. They had a great duct, and they'll also be at the Silver Stick. So we'll touch on the Thunder Bay Kings on the next episode here. So stay tuned for that. But jumping into the next league we wanted to touch on here, the HEO Hockey Eastern Ontario. They got the U18 going. First off, we'll start. I want to start with first. There's a game last night, Monday, November 8th, because we're recording this actually on a Tuesday. So Monday, November 8th, there's a game between two of the top teams in the U18 AAA, Nepean Raiders and the Navin Grads. And oh my goodness, that was Ryan. That's a battle. That was a battle. In that game, there's a battle between some of the top prospects out of the HEO. I mean, from Navin, you got Nathan Villeneuve and Ben Cormier, and then you got on the other end, you got Cole Beaudoin from the Nepean Raiders. And I mean, I got an update from someone on Twitter who was really great to reply to me. I'll pull up his name. I'll pull him up. I'll give him a shout out in a second. But I mean, Justin Justin Cholette was a goaltender. He said had a tremendous game. Cole Beaudoin looked fantastic in the game, along with several other 05s. I mean, Luke Postumus was a guy who I think slipped on some draft boards last year, but I mean, he's an 05 who's been crazy good this year. But I mean, you look at the 06s, Villeneuve had an incredible shorthanded goal despite in the loss, despite losing 5-1 there for Navin, but just a tremendous group. And I mean, I look at the HEO kind of scoreboard and the scoring leaders. I'll let you jump here in a second as I keep rambling here, but I'll let you jump in soon. But
All good.
Ben Cormier is leading the way here in HEO scoring with 28 points. Then he's got his teammate Nathan Villeneuve behind him at 22 points. And Cole Beaudoin is right behind him with 20 points. And then Thomas Dickey and Kato Ryan are right behind those three. Both of them on the Carleton Place Canadians. Each have 13 points apiece. And then just a couple other guys from some other teams, Renfrew. And then you got Rockland. I got Renfrew. Dean Letourneau has 11 points, so right behind there. So just a team right there. And then I believe the next team I had, the next player, excuse me here while I pull up this name, because this is going to be, I want to get the name right. Benjamin Watson Bullock from Rockland. I apologize if I pronounced that incorrectly. Benjamin Watson Bullock He has 10 points. So that's another player there who's been making an impact in HEO scoring there. But just looking at the top there, Navin, got the two Navin boys at the top. And I know we both got to see Cormier and Villeneuve. So I'll let you jump in here on Cormier and Villeneuve.
Yeah, like so Navin grads. I mean, for those who have been following the podcast, last year we had a that was the only HEO team where they got their own episode because we were doing it in a different format in season one. We had team episodes, and when we got to HEO, it got a bit tricky, but we had several players from the Navin team from that 05 age group from the 2021 draft, and like Navin picked up right where they left off last year. They got when I went to draft day this year, I thought the two best players on the Ottawa-based team, other than maybe like Henry Muse, because Muse would kind of be in this category with these two guys that are on Navin, but Muse played with the Ottawa team, even though he's with JRC now. But they've got another couple of stud players in Ben Cormier and Nathan Villeneuve. I gotta shout out my buddy Ryan Woodward. He's doing unbelievable work out there with Navin. Even in the CCHL, their team is doing great, and Ryan's been a good buddy of mine. So like I gotta shout him out for all his hard work. He's doing great work out there, and man, like on that in that Ottawa area, like I really noticed at draft day, like Ben Cormier, Nathan Villeneuve stood out above the rest. I know there was that one game that we were both at, and Villeneuve came in. I believe it was like the first or the second shift, and he snapped one home, and we just looked at each other like, "This could be first overall." Remember that one?
He loves to like pick not just the left side. I should say for a left catching goalie, he loves to pick that left side of the net, and not just
Yeah,
the left side. He loves picking that corner. I don't know how many highlights I've seen where he's just picking that corner. I'm like, what's with that accuracy? Like, Jesus, man. Like, how do you even stop that? Like, if a guy's deadly accurate, like all you can do as a goalie is just like be like, okay, tip your cap kind of thing. You know what I mean? So it's like,
yeah. And they're like, I mean, Woodward out there, he's doing a great job just pumping out the highlights so we can see all these goals. Because like I had mentioned about the Great North Midget League, this HEO league is also geographically difficult for us to cover. So we're hoping and praying that there's going to be that Ottawa Ambassadors and Ottawa Capitals team at the Marlies tournament, but I'm not holding my breath because sources are telling me it's probably not going to happen, which I think is a shame that they won't send like the U16 All-Stars down to the Marlies. That would be kind of tough if that didn't happen, but hopefully they pull through and they get down here. But if not, we're gonna have to figure out some ways to, I mean, maybe get some more video scouting on these guys. But so far this year, we've been busy with whatever's been happening around here. But just to get into a little bit of specifics on Ben Cormier, I mean, just the big thing that really stood out for me at the draft day event was his motor. He's got an unbelievable motor. It's so powerful. His legs are just, it just generates so much. His stride power, his ability to just, that first two steps, he's just off. And he's got great top speed, great hands, great player, physical. And like, look where he's at right now. Like 13 games played, he's got 16 goals. So that's over a goal per game, 12 assists, 28 points, 2.15 points per game. Absolutely unbelievable. Wow, he's got 5 power play goals. The next highest is 3. Like he's killing it this year. He's absolutely killing it. Unbelievable player. And I'd say like, well, Nathan Villeneuve, he's got 22 points. Very kind of like maybe a little taller, but very similar, like a really, really good motor and that great stride power. So those two are really powerful players. And I'd say with Villeneuve, like his shot release is unbelievable. Like he's got that kind of firecracker release. He comes in and he rips it. And he had a kind of the best showing, I thought, from the Ottawa area team at the draft day event. But Cormier and Villeneuve are in the conversation. They're knocking on the door for that. I mean, top pick. Definitely first round candidates early this season. Like if I were to bet right now, I would probably bet that they could both go in the first round. But I mean, you don't want to be playing that game, but they're really good players.
oh, I don't. You said it perfectly there. I could not agree more with you. And the fact, I mean, when I said the scoring race, Ryan, I mean, I mentioned the rookie scoring race.
Yeah,
I mean, Cormier's second in league scoring behind
yeah,
Luke Posthumus in '05. So, I mean, Cormier, Villeneuve, and Colbaud, they're 2, 3, and 5 in league scoring overall. So that's not even just rookie scoring. So that's just, I think that just takes it to another level of their impact in the league and on their teams in that regard. And I mean, I'm looking to check out Colbaud some more and really see more
yeah,
of him because when he's a player, it's been tough. Navin's been putting out a lot of highlights, and we're really looking forward to checking out Colbaud because I've heard so much about this tremendous player, and so far in what I've seen, that is, I can't help but agree with that estimate there about him being a tremendous player. So, I mean, we're looking forward to checking out more HEO and some in whatever regarding you mentioned their video scaling. So we'll be sure
hmm
we're definitely looking to check that out there.
yeah. And I'll just jump before we move on. I wanted to say like Beaudoin. We got a connection up out in the Ottawa area, Josh Bell, and he was saying don't sleep on him. Like he thinks really highly of him, and I really respect his opinion. And so Beaudoin, like that's one that I've seen a lot of good things, and I'm definitely going to be having to kind of dig in and learn more about him. And before we move on to another league, um, another guy on this list that I noticed here, Daniil Zabednov,
Yep.
from the Smith Falls team. He really stood out for me at draft day. I think he's really, really good. Like he's got 7 goals, 2 assists, 9 points in 10 games. He's ninth in rookie scoring, so he's a little further down the list there. But um, I just wanted to bring him up. I think he's a great player. There's a lot there, and really, really kind of he's got great hands and really highly skilled with excellent puck skills and passing, and his shot is unbelievable. And so I really like him. And yeah, like just looking further down the list here, like Owen Redmond from Countville is one that stands out for me. 8 points in 11 games. I've seen some stuff on him, and I like him a lot as well. But got to dig more into this HEO league. Like still early in the year for us, but we definitely got to figure out a way to see them more. And if anyone out there is going to be advocating with the HEO, please send those all-star teams down to the Marlies tournament for me and Connor. Hey, Connor.
Yeah. Oh, I ca- I couldn't echo that sentiment anymore if I tried, man. It's being able to see those auto kids. I mean, seeing them at the draft day thing was incredible. And before we move on, I would also mention another player. I know one team, Brockville, is kind of a bit down in the standings in the HEO, but one player who I know we both were really impressed by at draft day, and I think is also off to a solid start is Hunter McKnight, who also
Oh yeah, yeah,
who
yeah.
I really like and I really want to check out. So honestly, just like Ryan said, please send those HEO tiers, please. Like honestly, but uh, we'll move on from that topic and we'll move on from the HEO league there. Um, but be sure to if you're able to check out videos, send video highlights of the HEO teams. Feel free to send those
Oh,
HEO
definitely,
highlights.
yeah.
We'll watch those all day, any day. Jumping into the next league we want to cover here in our weekly recap. We want to jump into the Alliance AAA loop here. Big week in the Alliance, Ryan. I mean, just first off, I'm going to start with there was a game Friday night between Brantford and Windsor, a couple top teams in the Alliance there. I mean, Brantford has only played 6 games now, and they're 5-1, and Windsor's 9-2, and Windsor's second loss came Friday night to Brantford, Ryan. And I mean, it was a tremendous game between those two, and shout out to the goaltender who started that game, Danny Doyle from the Brantford 99ers, who had a shutout in the 4-0 win. But I mean, Merrick Vanaker and Lucas Carmiers have been incredible so far for the Brantford 99ers. I mean, Carmiers, after that Friday night game, he get this, Ryan. He now has 18 points in 6 games played. I
Oh,
mean, the leading scorer in the Alliance right now is Ryan Robrick from the London Junior Knights in '07, might add. But he has Robrick has 22 points in 10 games played.
yeah,
But
10.
take in, Carmiers has 4 games at hand, and
Yeah.
he's only 4 points behind. Like like that pace is incredible. Like what is that?
He's probably going to run away with that scoring title. Like it's hard to say. It's early in the year. It's very early, but Man, everything I've seen on Carmiris is just so high end, and I've been hearing about Carmiris for 4 years now. Like he keeps coming up, like just based on different people I talk to and sources and friends, basically at this point, like in the business, in the hockey business, it's like that name keeps popping up, and now that you see 3 points a game, like that's why, right? That's why those names, like they don't just the name doesn't pop up in my inbox and in phone calls and whatever. It doesn't pop up that often for nothing, right?
Oh, and then his teammate, Merrick Banneker, like this guy, Banneker, he's only played 2 games on the season, but he's got 6 points. So he's got it's basically the exact same scoring pace going. And meanwhile, for I don't mean to brush over these guys, but Braden McCallum and Tommy
Yeah.
Carmiris, they're having just as big of an impact. And it's like Brantford's a team who's dangerous this year. And I mean, I can't wait to see them actually play more games because 6 games played. I mean, give them 3 more games, and with the way they're playing, with the way those boys are rolling right now, they could shoot up that standings real quick here and end up at the top of the standings near London and
Oh
Windsor.
yeah.
And their only loss of the season, might add, came in the first game of the season in a close 3-2 loss to Waterloo. So Brantford right now is making an impact and really making some noise on the alliance there. But I mean, I mentioned Ryan Rubik. I mentioned Ryan Rubik there leading the league in scoring, So he's doing his thing. Tyler Graham still in second in league scoring. So they got their thing going on and all that. There are some close results. Elgin topped Chatham Kent 3-2 there. So things are really tight. No one's kind of blowing anyone out really in the alliance recently, and it's great to see kind of close games. I mean, obviously I talked about Windsor and Brantford there, but I mean London had the big win over the weekend. But Lambton topped here on Perth 5-0, but Windsor ended up having to bounce back a couple games over the weekend. 3-2 and 3-1, 3-2 over Cambridge rather, and 3-1 over Hamilton. So just a couple of things there. And then Cambridge had a tie 1-1 versus Lambton. And then Huron Perth had a great bounce back victory after taking the loss against Lambton. They won 6-1 against Kitchener. And then Elgin had a close win against Chatham Kent 3-2. So, I mean, things are tight in the alliance. No one's giving up much. So it'll be something to keep an eye on. London and Windsor at the top of the standing still, but there's lots of things to be decided here, Ryan. So it'll be something to keep an eye on. And a lot of these alliance teams, like Windsor especially, they'll be at the silver stick. At least something to look forward to. But as I wrap up here on the alliance, I'll give an update for the top 5 in scoring there. Robrick, as I mentioned, 22 points, leading the way. Tyler Graham, 19 points. Josh LePayne out of Windsor, 18 points. Carmiris, like I mentioned, 18 points. And then Tate Vader, he's also got 18 points to wrap up the scoring. Top 5 in scoring. Luchenko also has 18 points. Jet Luchenko. So he's tied for 5th and tied for 5th there in scoring. So just an update on the alliance there, Ryan.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, it's there's a lot of good teams out there. Like it seems like Brantford, Waterloo, London, like Windsor, it's kind of tight at the top there. So it's going to be interesting to see the results going forward. And yeah, it's always a good loop to follow. Like Robrook, wow, an 07 leading the way in scoring. That's really interesting. Like especially after the big tournament he had at the London tournament, right?
No, absolutely. So there's an alliance weekly update for our viewers. But we'll jump into the SCTA next, the South Central AAA League. And first off, Ryan, I had the chance to check out a Wednesday night game last week between Niagara and Halton, which actually featured a player we have in an upcoming interview on this episode. So I'll save that for when we unveil it later. But regardless, Niagara took that game 4-1. It was a fairly one-sided game, I'll say. Niagara really carried the play a lot. Luca Tessa, Parker Forlan, really 2 standout players for me. I mean, Parker Forlan's a player who's really kept showing up everywhere and really making an impact. He's a smaller player, but he doesn't blow you away with necessarily breakneck speed, but he really changes the game with the way he's able to kind of slow down the game. He keeps the puck in that hip pocket area, kind of controls the game, controls the play, and just he opens up so many chances with his puck placement, the way he holds the puck, man.
Yeah, he's got great puck skills, and he's really got excellent hands, and he moves east-west, so that lateral movement is really a big strength of his. So with his good hands and everything, like he's able to kind of dart into gaps, out of gaps, and great passer, great playmaker.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, I'll say this in that game. The amount of times I saw Luca Testa and Parker Foreman connect on a cross seam pass,
Yeah,
was in the offensive zone, just cross seam, hitting that lane, and it was in like at some point I was like, how many like when's that stick gonna be put in the lane? Because these two were hitting it on the tape. There was 2 goals they got as a result of that, and it was like Tesla got one on the power play. I think Forlan got one, or Forlan. The puck went to Forlan, he shot it, and then it ended up in the net as a result because of the offensive chance it generated. But the puck movement that Niagara's got going for them. I mean, Testa and Forlan were big that game, but Vermeulen was looking solid again. Ben Theron was looking good. Dominic DiFrancesco, he's a guy who just keeps chugging along, man. He just, the motive this guy has, like he's everywhere, like he's just pushing around. He gets in your grill, and he's not going to give you any time, no space, and he may not be as big as some of the guys he's playing against, but he gets in there, uses his body as leverage, and he gets after it. And I'm like, wow, like you can't help but watch DiFrancesco because he just jumps out because he's constantly moving his feet. But I mean, it was incredible. But
a hard worker, man. He's a hard worker. He doesn't stop. Like he doesn't take a shift off.
yeah, you said it perfectly there. And I mean, just other guys. I mean, Petrucci is a player who's really looked good in the past few viewings of Niagara North there, and then the defense. Lucas Tuins really looks solid. His physicality, his play there. Lucas Tuins, a guy on Niagara North there. But Niagara North seems to be they're still undefeated, 5-0-0. They've got a game coming up against Hamilton, the Junior Bulldogs there. But Niagara's looking like top dog in the SCTA right now, and you really got to put together a really strong effort and have a consistent game when you're playing against Niagara because those players come to play and they can produce when they're playing. So Niagara's Niagara's been really good. So, but in that game though, Halton had a really some players had a really good game. One player in particular, Hunter Mckenzie, who we'll talk more about later on. Hunter Mckenzie had a really strong game in the loss. Um, Showed great resilience. He took a tough shot in the third and he came back. And well, I'll save my analysis, save my
Yeah.
reference to this game for because like I mentioned earlier, he's actually one of our players we had the chance to talk to. So I'll save Hunter Mckenzie for a bit later. But just a tremendous game between Halton and Niagara. But once again, Niagara's still leading the way in the SCTA there. But um, I mean, recently Brampton actually in last night's game Monday night, as by the time we release this, Brampton topped Halton 5-1. Luke Decay with a big game. He's a kid I really liked when I saw him play Niagara North down in St. Catharines. Luke Decay has been a really good player for Brampton. Smaller guy, but really skilled, really high effort, high work ethic guy. Owen O'Grady as well. Burlington topped Great Bruce 2-1. Southern Tier topped Great Bruce 8-1 over the weekend, and then Oakville topped Guelph 6-2 over the weekend as well. So just a tremendous SCTA start there, and I'll update the standings here for our listeners and viewers. Obviously, I mentioned Niagara North still leading the way, but Burlington hopped Halton. They've got 9 points, and then Halton's got 8. Hamilton is following with 7, and Oakville's got 6. So lots of room to play here, but Niagara North off to a great start on the SCTA. And then as I usually do, I'll give a update in scoring here in the SCTA. When Luca Testa, 18 points, still producing there with his shot. He's got an even 9 goals, 9 assists apiece there. So he's leading the way. And they got Chris Soares and Hunter Mckenzie, second and third. Soares with 17 points, Mckenzie with 14. Then DiFrancesco, I mentioned this guy gets to the right spots and he's able to finish on his chances. He's got 12 points so far on the year. And wrapping it up, I got Dean Dylan Georges from Hamilton Junior Bulldogs with 12 points as well. So a really big week, really kind of big week in the SCTA coming up. Niagara playing Hamilton. It'll be interesting to see how Hamilton really takes to that challenge of playing Niagara. But really big, really great to see Niagara play Halton in a big game there. So looking forward to the week coming up with the SCTA. But with that being said, Ryan, we'll jump in the ETA. Starting it off, I mean, Quinty still at top, but there's a team that, man, they snapped Quinty's win streak, 11-game win streak to start the season, Quinty, and then they finally got it snapped. They didn't lose though; they tied 4-4 North Central. And as I talk about North Central, there, Ethan Washington. Apologize if I said that right. Feel free to message me if I said it. Apologize if I said it wrong. Feel free to message me the correct pronunciation. I said it wrong, but Ethan Washington, He is tearing it up in the ETA right now. 24 points. Just crazy crazy start for him. But I mean, Quincy's still chugging on, and it's just an incredible start in the ETA there, Ryan.
Yeah, no, definitely. Still undefeated. They're, I believe, 11-0-1, right?
12-1, I think it is now, because they had a good bounce back game.
12-0-1?
12-1, but regardless, they're still undefeated.
Yeah, undefeated, and obviously took that London tournament. So they're the team, definitely the team to beat in the ATA. Like, I think by far and away the best team. But big result there for the North Central Preds and Ethan Prusism. I think that's how we pronounce it, but could both be wrong there, but that's how I have it too. Yeah, a lot of points there. Like, he takes a lot of pims, so he plays on the edge there, sometimes crosses that edge a little bit on that line there. But I mean, good player, like big, strong player. And second in scoring, Beckett Ewart, Quinty Red Devils. We mentioned him a little bit in the last episode. I mentioned the curl and drag. It's poetry in motion. Beautiful. I love it. So I think he's got a lot of skill. Like, sitting there with like 7 goals, 11 assists, 18 points in 13 games played. That's a solid start to the year for Beckett Ewart. Really good player, really good puck skills. Like, I think he's really solid overall, and brings a lot of good things. Like, even just little things in his own zone. You notice him getting the puck out. He doesn't turn it over in his own zone. He makes the right play, and he's solid, like great playmaker, good passer. How many assists does he have? 11 assists. So that's tied for tops in the ETA. So yeah, I noticed that. I noticed he's a great playmaker. He finds those seams, and he's got great vision, and delivers the puck accurately and timely with good weight and all that stuff. So keep an eye out for Beckett Ewart. Jacob Tarian, Clarington Toros, who we've had on the show. First episode we had, he stood out the Wendy Dufton tournament there, but 10 goals, 10 games, 17 points, solid player. I mean, there's what I like about him, just his overall game. Like, he's like shorter, like we mentioned, but very strong, like very sturdy player, and really, really difficult to contain. Like, when he's rushing the puck, the D, it's kind of like one of those guys with the D to keep backing in, backing in, backing in, because they're just waiting. They don't want to get beat by him. But so if they keep backing in, he'll just rip it and then just go by them. So I don't know how you play Jacob Tarian off the rush there, but it's pretty tough, and he makes it difficult on the defense. Braden Rogers, top D scorer, Quinty Red Devils, wears number 2, right D. Unbelievable player. Absolutely unbelievable. Great skater. What's he at here? He's got a lot of points. 7 goals for a D, 9 assists, 16 points in 13 games. Braden Rogers is an unbelievable player. Like, player I've really enjoyed watching so far this season. I've seen a lot of Quinty games. Just that skating, like he's at the top in terms of skaters for defensemen for this draft, and really tough to contain. There's one thing I noticed. So Quinty does this thing. They put Rogers and Ben Danford, who's also an extremely good defender. They put them together on the power play, even though they're both right shot D. But just because of Danford and Rogers, especially with skating, like, I think Rogers is the best D in ETA, but Danford is extremely good as well. When they're on the power play, the other team cannot get the puck out. If they rip it around the boards, they get there to that spot, and they stop it before it goes out of the zone. So, like, pretty much it's impossible to ice the puck on them, just because they're such good skaters and they have such good jump. So they keep it in the whole 2 minutes. And I think that's a lot of Quinty's success comes off that strong back end. Like, they're really, really strong and tough to contain. And next on the list here, we get Ethan Toms. 5th in scoring, Quinty Red Devils, 8 goals, 6 assists, 14 points in 13 games. So Ethan Tom's having a big year so far. We had him on after the Dufton. He got the most goals in that tournament, and he's an unbelievable player. Like, I caught some of his highlights from this past weekend. He got a nice deep goal against the North Central Preds. He got one from the point. ripped a snapper top corner, and another good snipe goal. So he's got that shot. He's got that firecracker release. And in terms of overall puck skills, he rates extremely high for puck skills. I don't know if there's anyone in the draft that has as good puck skills and crisp passing and just how good his stick is. Like I don't know if there's anything that compares in terms of puck skills in this draft. Sorry, I'll let you jump in. Where you
No,
got
no,
anything on these top 5 guys?
no. I think you've hit the nail on the head with all these guys.
Yeah, am I doing all right?
No, you've been
Yeah.
perfect, man. It's been you just chugging along there. So it's you hit the nail on the head with a lot of these guys. But you mentioned Tyrion. I was just gonna say with him with the rush. I mean, say a hope and a prayer as he's coming down on you. But I know as you look at the rest of the league and what's going on there. I mean, this past week, Clarington played Oshawa and they had a big 7-0 win. And shout out Charlie Hilton, man, on
Oh
Clarington.
yeah.
He had a
4 goals.
goal game.
Yeah.
Big performance from him. Tyrion, I believe they didn't he's listed as only having 3 points, a goal and 2 assists, but I think he actually they might have snubbed him on a point there. So he might have actually had 4 points. And then you got Connor D'Angelo, shout out Connor, great name there. Connor D'Angelo, a goal and 2 assists. So Clarington had a big performance in that game. I mean, Kingston's had a solid week out in the ETA. Really put together some good performances. I mean, they got a great 4-2 win against Oshawa. And a guy we mentioned last week from the Kingston tournament who had a solid performance, Thomas Elkins. I believe he had the hat trick against Oshawa. So just a tremendous game for him. Really making an impact for them all over the place. Central Ontario got the win 5-2 against Peterborough. Obviously, I mentioned Quinny had a great bounce back victory after tying. They had 2-0 win. Becky Urt, Brian Rogers hopping on the score sheet. York Simcoe really taking a dominant win over HX Pickering. You got Cole Davis in the score sheet a bunch. So huge for him with a couple goals there. North Central took a big win after tying Quinny, kept their momentum up with a big 6-1 win against Richmond Hill. So, I mean, it's just the momentum they've got going here for North Central is huge. And they're at the Silver Stick. They're in a tough division at the Silver Stick. They got North York in their division, but North Central won't be a team to mess with that respect. But it's just like Prosser's as we mentioned, he had 4 points in that game. Nolan Henry had a couple points. Nathan Schapp had 2 points, going and assists. So it's just they keep it going there, and North Central's going, and Waxers top Clarington in a 3-1 win. Jack Good with a really nice goal.
Oh yeah, I saw
Shout
that.
out him. Oh my God, he had 2 goals in that game. The one goals were a beauty. So Jack Good's really making an impact. Frankie Morelli's a D on that team. He's looked good in that respect. So Oshawa had a 3-0 win over Central Ontario. Barrie had a 5-0 win over Peterborough. But I won't run through every score, but just an update on some recent scores there and some great games from some players recently in the ETA there. So great to see kind of everything kind of figuring itself out in the ETA, and things are still really tight. But Quinny's found some separation, I think. But yeah,
No,
sorry, go
sorry,
ahead.
just
Go ahead.
to continue to finish on the ETA here before we move on. I just pulled up Clarington because you mentioned Tarion and Hilton with the 4-goal game recently, and Tarion had a big game there as well. But I remember now there was a guy that I didn't mention after the Dufton that I thought had a good tournament at the Wendy Dufton in London. Blake Wright,
Yep,
number 15. So I
he's
was
been really
remiss
good.
not to mention him. Yeah, I was remiss not to mention him. So I wanted to bring him up. He's a kind of an average size, maybe like slightly below average, but decent size, and he's good. Like he cuts the middle so effectively, and he's got great hands, great puck skills. So in tight areas, his hands are excellent, and he can maneuver in tight positions. And I think he's a great player. So I really wanted to bring him up. Nolan Laird is another one on Clarington, really fast. Like he's sitting at Wright's sitting at 12 points in 10 games, and Laird's got 7 plus 3, 10 points in 10 games. So I wanted to bring those two up because those are two ones. Definitely Blake Wright. He's got a lot. He's got a lot of traits that I like. So I'm going to be watching him closely. And so yeah, that's in addition to, I mean, Tarion, who we've mentioned a lot. Hilton, that big game, that big bodied power forward. I mean, it doesn't surprise me he got 4 goals in a game, and it wouldn't surprise me to see him have big results going forward in other games because he's got that potential. Like I think he's a great OHL prospect. And Josh Brady, the top D scorer on the team with 10 points in 10 games. Doesn't surprise me there. Great skater, great player. So yeah, just that Clarington team, like they made the quarterfinals in London, and it wouldn't surprise me if they have good tournaments going forward. But I think I got to like the guys with 14 points. I just want to mention the last couple because the guys that are tied with Ethan Toms there, Nate Brentnell from Richmond Hill, and then also 14 points, Daniel Bassick, who we had in the last episode from the York Simcoe Express, having a good start to the year. Really, really good player from York Simcoe Express. So if you want more details on the YSC star there, they can go back to episode 2 is where his interview is, and lots of analysis there. And Adam Matar, another good one on YSC. So yeah, let's just kind of wrap up ETA there.
No, great stuff there, Ryan. And we'll jump into the final league who got going here among U16 AAA. The GTHL finally got going last Monday night, November 1st, and big night for the G. They had a great big opening ceremony there. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to attend. I was down at St. Catharines for school, but just an update on some scores from that Monday night here. Young Nats played at Westwood. They had a 3-0 win over the Rebels. And then, I mean, the Vaughan Kings and Markham Majors came to a 2-2 draw in that game. Phenomenal game all around there. And then, I mean, third game of the night there.
Yeah.
What can you say really? 9-0 win for the Mississauga Senators, really kind of asserting their dominance there. And then Wednesday night, I know the North York Rangers played the Mississauga Reps, or Reps Hockey Club as they're now known, and they won 4-2. Kieran Walton was not a top prospect. Kieran Walton was not active in that game, but they had a tremendous game. Came out with the win there. Christopher Brown, who I'll actually mention as we continue along here, had a great game for them. And then Thursday night, I mean, just an absolute massive game for the Toronto Junior Canadians in their opener against the Rebels at Iceland Arena in Mississauga. I mean, 10-0, Ryan, just a phenomenal game. I mean, I'll shout one player out here. I mean, Antonio Tersini, number 17 for the JRC. He had 5 points, 3 goals, and 2 assists in that game. And just a massive game. And I mean, Porter Martone had 2 points with 2 assists. Number 14, Jack Van Volsen at 3 points, 2 goals, 1 assist. Henry Muse at 2 points. Michael H at the Hattie. Anthony Cristoforo had 3 points, 2 goals, and an assist. I mean, Jacob Battaglia had 2 points. Andoni Fimis, younger brother of Pano Fimis, had 2 points. And then just to add on to it, heck, the goalie Paolo Frasca even got in on it. He had an assist. So
Nice.
Just a tremendous game from the JRC there. But I mean, I'll jump into you and I both. We got to split some time on Friday night attending some games. I'll let you start. I'll let you start off here because you had the chance to watch the Toronto Marlboros versus Toronto Titans at the Amazing Four Performance Center. So I'll let you take it away here, Ryan.
Yeah, so that was a great game. I mean, not so much for the Titans maybe, but the Marlies, it was a great game. But anyways, for the Titans, I just wanted to bring up one player that had a good game that really stood out for me, Tristan Delisle. So he's actually an 07 playing up. So we got another 07. I always like to mention those 07s playing up. He's a player I saw in the summer in the Carnivale League, various different leagues. Yeah, just really, really good. Like he's playing up for the Titans. I think he's going to be a good one for the 2022 draft. But mostly I just want to focus on the Marlies here. And like with the top 10 rankings, the preseason rankings, I had them 10th. And then in a recent episode, I said I think that they're probably in the latter half of the top 10 in the league. But after watching that game, I don't know, like they look like a top 5 team to me right now. They were just flying. They were absolutely buzzing. And I got a whole bunch of players I want to bring up from the game. So look out for the Marlies because, man, they made some additions kind of like at the end of the preseason there, and maybe ones that maybe were made earlier that we just didn't know about. Their roster's looking great. Like we've talked a lot about Sam Dickinson, number 4, the left D. He's solid. He's big and strong. I think he's like that prototypical, like kind of complete defenseman that every OHL team is looking for. And kind of similar to like a Braden Turley, just a really powerful defenseman that can hit. They can do everything, right? Do everything hard. Everything's fast. Everything's like at that next level, speed wise and strength wise. So I think he's one to definitely keep an eye on. And I said before I thought he was the best on the Marlies, and I still kind of think he is, but there's a contender for that title, Carter Lowe. Wow. He had
Yes, sir.
oh, he had an unbelievable game, unbelievable showing. He is so fast and so physical, and he's a nightmare. Like to contain. He got free, and I wouldn't even say the defending was bad on the play, but just that speed. He burst through the middle of split the D, picked up a pass, and went in at full speed. And then he kind of just right before like he got to the net, he kind of shut it down a little bit and did a little change of pace. Like kind of did a kind of like a side edge kind of stop a little bit, and then goalie just opened him up like a can opener and just slipped it 5-hole. It was just unbelievable. And I was standing right beside the net, just off to the side, and I was just thinking, why is the camera not rolling? It would have been an unbelievable one to post, but sometimes you can't have the camera rolling all the time because like then you get distracted from scouting. We've got a job to do, right, Connor? So you understand that, but I wish I had that camera rolling, man. That was an unbelievable goal. And couple more guys that had a really good game that I wanted to bring up. Zach Shepard, number 33. He had a couple goals. He had a great game. Good player overall. Leo Serlin, number 28. He was solid as well. Just other guys on the team that I've liked just basically over time. Like Carson Woodall, number 14. He was from Sun County in the past. He's a player that I like. He's a smaller defenseman, but skates really well. A guy I liked in the summer. David Green, number 18, really solid defenseman. Like, does a lot of stuff you like. That first pass is always solid. That stay-at-home D, sturdy, reliable, really, really good defenseman. And just to kind of get into one more, Luke Warner, really fast forward. Where's number 39? Really, really good player. So those are the ones that stood out for me in that particular game. And for the Titans, I already mentioned Delisle. That was a big win by the Marlies. They took it. I think it was like 9-0 or something.
Yep, 9-0.
Good to them, pretty good. So yeah.
Yeah, so Marlies off to a good start of the season, and they ended up playing in their next game on Sunday. Actually, they played against the Markham Majors and took another win. They won 5-2 against Markham, so they're off to a 2-0 start to the season, undefeated so far. 2 outstanding showings offensively, just chugging along there. So I know, and as I mentioned there, you had the chance to go on Friday to that game at Fort Florence, and while you were there, I got to be at the Sens versus Red Wings game at Chestwood Arena, and I mean,
Nice.
the Sens and Red Wings. I mean, just a tough game for the Red Wings overall. Tyron Favre and Ty Henry weren't playing for the Red Wings. Solid effort for the Red Wings, but just didn't see the results. And I mean, they did get the loss. They lost 10-2 to the Sens. Just to shout a player out in particular, Jonathan Morello from the Red Wings, who was a player I really liked. I've liked watching him before, and he stood out despite the loss in that game. Amari Sellars is a player who's really kind of we actually have an interview with him later on. We're gonna show so, but Jonathan Morello is a player who he actually was a big contributor to one of their goals in the game earlier in the game when it was 2-0 or 3-0, and he actually really used his body effectively, really drove kind of towards the net, used his body effectively, then rolled off and found a way to get the puck to his teammate number 12 Zhang, who ripped it top shelf there for the goal. So I mean, it was a tight game to start between the Sens and Red Wings, but ultimately the Sens just overpowered them with their speed, the pace they play at, the quickness, and their physicality and the offensive output. I mean, it was 7-2 by the end of the second, I believe, 7 or 9-2
Wow.
by the end of the second. And at one point it was just incredible watching them, the way they were skating, the way they were playing. I mean, watching them. I mean, just first off, Riley Patterson was a player who stood out for me in that game. And it's just, I got numbers listed down here, but Patterson, Braska had a goal. I mean, William Moore, the 07, he was phenomenal in that game. Eggleton was doing his thing. I mean, it was just like I don't even. Bodie Stewart was another. Bodie Stewart. We've talked about Bodie Stewart. He ripped one bar down and showed a quick release. Just his ability to play in all three zones. The player I really liked in that game was Quinton Lyle. I mean, just he had a huge shot block for the Sens that led to a Malcolm Spence breakaway, and then Malcolm Spence decided he was going to show why he's in that conversation for the top of the draft there. And he just ripped one on the breakaway there for a goal, and it was just the whole team was chugging along. Like I could list so many players. It was just like yeah, Gabe Brask was he's really raising his game as we go along here. Who else do I got here? I mentioned Stewart. Spence is going Lyle. I mean, Michael Misa had a couple points there. He was doing his thing. Justin Humes looked good. Phil Roberto is a D. I like to watch in that game. He had a really solid game. He's tough to play against. Kind of plays with an edge. He's not afraid to really lay you out there. Lucas Rodriguez is a reliable D on the Sens. Really effective defenseman who can play in any situation. Moves the puck up ice well and defends well down low. There regarding that, Caden Kelly, high work ethic player. He played really well in that game, puts himself in the right spots, but just overall, just an absolute dominating performance in the sense. Like it's just so hard to pick like one or like you mentioned a few like five, 6 players from the Marlies there, and it was just so hard to like pick. Like I don't know about you, but as you're writing down notes in those big games and the whole team's playing so well together and they're all working so efficiently, it's like who do I write down here? Who do I take a note of? Because it's like everyone's like I can only like I just write down half the numbers and like okay, everyone's kind of doing so well. Everyone's making plays here. Everyone's doing well. But the Sens had a great game that Friday night, and then they kept it going. I had a chance to go Monday night, and then a big game against North York at Paramount Fine Food Center. They played against North York. Big win for them again, 7-2. I really standout player in that game. Justin Hunt, I really liked his game on the defensive end, defensively and offensively. Just his reads, ability to read when he needed to pinch in the offensive zone, kind of make a play or activate on offense and rush up with the puck, move in open space. He had a really great game in my opinion. And then Malcolm Spence, despite he had a big game for me and really telling game where he didn't get on the score sheet, but he had a tremendous game, both kind of forechecking and getting scoring chances. But his two-way game in that game was phenomenal. Just his ability, his back check, his high work ethic to get back and hunt guys down. Really, like if the puck was turned over, he was getting back and he was getting back on it, putting himself in the right spot. He was showing his ability to maneuver the puck in tight spaces. Malcolm Spence was huge in that game, in my opinion. Riley Patterson was doing his thing again. Michael Misa, I mentioned how he had a couple points in the Friday game. Huge game on the Monday night there. He had the Hattie, uh, just beauty first goal for him where he really just rolled off the D in front and just backhand slid it 5-hole. But Michael Misa was a huge game for them. Where do I go here? Caden Kelly had a big game. I really like Kelly's game in that regard. Really workhorse down low, gets after it, puts himself like communicates on the ice, puts himself in good spots to get the puck, and then gets his chances. And he's able to finish on some of his chances and got a lot of chances that game. So Caden Kelly with a big game there. Again, Quinton Lyle. He had a huge one play that stood out to me. I'll reference here. He had a big time defensive play where he really just came back to the front like you're supposed to do. Come back to the front. He took the extra man. As soon as that puck came, he took it away, knocked the guy's stick, and just completely took away a chance that I swear to God, if he wasn't there, that would have been a goal for North York. It might have changed the game a bit, but another dominating performance in the Sens. I mean, Frasca was going again, buzzing. That Misa line was incredible. Just a phenomenal game against the Sens. Where do I start? So many standouts. So, but North York in the loss though, a few players who I want to shout out here. A really solid game. Gregory Toropsev, number 22. He was just holy geez, like the work ethic and the compete from this kid and the aggressiveness he plays with is phenomenal. He's not giving you any time and space. You're not getting anything easy off him. He's physical. He's aggressive. He's going to knock you over. He had a goal. He had a goal in the power play off a rebound where he just kind of hanging next to the net. And as soon as that puck drove loose, boom, he was on it, knocks it in. Big game from him. Really liked his performance. And then Christopher Brown, he's had a big 3 games for North York so far in the season. Despite one loss, he did have a hat trick against Vaughan on Saturday, which was big for him. But Christopher Brown had a really solid game. despite the loss. And then another player I actually really enjoyed watching last night was Connor Walton, brother of Karen Walton. But Connor had a really good, solid game defensively. He actually took some chances offensively as well, really kind of jumping up to play with the puck. But defensively, his gaps were good. Really defending well off the rush and off the cycle. He was really physical, battling hard. Nothing easy was coming against him in that game. In that game, sorry. In that game. So really great to see, despite the loss, a lot of players battling out there within the G. And then in addition to Monday night, there was another game on Monday that we weren't able to get to. But I mean, the JRC played the Toronto Young Nationals, sorry, and they won 2-0 in that game. And then over at Scotiabank Pond, the Titans beat the Reps 4-0, so the Titans get their first win of the season against the Reps there. And then Sunday night, I mentioned one game there. I mentioned the Marbles beat the Majors 5-2, but in addition to that game, there was also the JRC played the Red Wings. JRC another win 7-2. And then the Don Mills Flyers beat the Toronto Young Nationals 3-0. So solid start to the season for Don Mills. But as we look at as we sit at the standings now, you have the JRC and Sens tied at first there after 3 games with 3-0-0. And the Marbles kind of sliding in there with 2 games played and 2 wins there. So next weekend, Ryan, next weekend's going to be a big game, but big weekend there. I mean, Friday, Saturday, the Thunder Bay Kings get into it. JRC and Marlboroughs play there, but Sunday especially, if anyone is able to get to Scotiabank Pond, 4:45, JRC versus the Mississauga Senators, a battle of what will likely be 2 still undefeated teams in the GTHL. So if you get the chance, if anyone's getting a chance to watch that, be sure to go check that out. But I know I mentioned a lot of names there, and just the Sens domination there. And I know, Ryan, I mentioned a lot of names that you really like, that you've also been a big fan of from the Sens.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think you did a great job with the analysis, and I mean we've talked about all these players a lot, so I don't know if I'm going to dig too much into it. But I just wanted to mention kind of my week. I had a quiet week for U16. I only had the 1 game, but I was doing a lot of U15. I went to the Shanahan tournament, which is a great tournament, and the Marlies. If anyone's watching U15, check out that Toronto Marlies team. Unbelievable group. I could go on and on and on about them, but it's not the U15 pod, it's the U16 pod. But man, if you're going to be checking out any U15, I would say Marlies, JRC are probably like the top 2 teams, and that's kind of similar to the U16, where we've got like the JRC, Marlies, Sens, and North York Rangers. So, I mean, good couple of years for especially JRC, Marlies, and Sens with good U15 and U16 teams, which is awesome to see. Really, really great programs in the GTHL. But I was also able to get to a U15 game of the Halton Hurricanes. So that's another U15 team that could sneak under the radar. A lot of people might not know about an SCTA team, but they are good, and I hope they stick together and like that group stays together for U16 because they're electric. Like they've got probably 5 significant forwards on that Halton U15 team, but just based on some like work I'm doing lately, I'm doing a lot of U15 stuff, trying to kind of get a jump on them before the U16 year. But yeah, that was kind of why my U16 week was a little quiet, but it wasn't quiet for hockey overall. It's always good to get to the rinks, even if it's U15, U16, OHL. I got to the Colts and the Bulldogs. That was good. My Colts got a big win, and I got to the Leaf game. The Leafs got a big win over Boston, so that was sick. Matthews got a couple, and Tavares got a couple. Marner, a big game with the empty net and a bunch of apples. So good night with the wifey there. It was a good date night at the Bud game. It was against Boston. Dude. Boo Marchand and all that good stuff.
Always good to get a win against Boston. So, but
yeah.
Anyways, we'll jump into we'll get into our first interview. We got with the player we got the chance to talk to. First player here from the SCTA Halton Hurricanes U16 AAA program. We got the chance to talk to Hunter Mckenzie, big time player. Like I mentioned earlier, he did a really good game despite the loss against Niagara North. So, without further ado, here's our interview with Hunter Mckenzie. All right, We're now joined by star forward Hunter Mckenzie from the Halton Hurricanes U16 AAA program. Hunter, how's it going?
It's going good. How about you?
Not too bad. Really appreciate you taking the time to join us in the pod. First off, I mean, last year was a real tough year with the pandemic. Really, just the lack of hockey, so much uncertainty. I mean, with that uncertainty, just how did you find ways to stay motivated and really just stay ready amidst the uncertainty of last season?
Yeah, definitely. It was a tough year for I think everyone. I had to work out a lot more than usual, and just get on the ice. I had to make out what's there.
Nice. I mean, it was just such a tough year. And I mean, just as we talk about last season, prior to that, in your U14 year, you're with Great Bruce. And then this season, you like I mentioned, you joined the Halton Hurricanes program. And so far, you guys have had a really successful season in the SCTA so far. I mean, just can you talk about kind of that transition, how the transition's been so far, joining Halton, and just what's it been like so far playing with those guys?
It's been great. It's been great. The team's been really welcoming to me and actually my brother as well. And yeah, like the guys are real good. It's nice to be playing along with some great players there.
That's great to hear. And I mean, just watching you guys play, just such a hardworking group. I mean, the success you guys have had. You guys haven't lost many games so far in the SCTA. I know I caught a game against Niagara, and Ryan's got a game against Hamilton so far. And I mean, Ryan, just looking at Hunter's game as well, that shot, Ryan, is just incredible, eh?
Yeah, definitely. It was really fun watching you play. I thought you were the best player in the whole game, in that game versus Hamilton, and it was a good one. It was a 2-2 tie, and I remember one play in particular. So you were on the power play and your shot got blocked, but you stayed with it, and I love it with like how you did this. You stayed with it. You picked up the puck even though it was blocked. And then, I mean, you got the shot off in a really tight space. Just kind of a quick move there and then got it off, scored 5-hole. Like, it's really noticeable. Like, you've got great hands and a really quick shot release. Like, how do you think you're able to get those excellent shots off in tight spaces like that?
It's actually something I've worked on a lot. Definitely, I just go down to my barn, work on tight space shots, and just being able to get them off quick and efficient.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like, I mean, you must shoot a lot of pucks. Like, you get a lot of velocity on it. You get how many pucks a day are you shooting or a week?
A week, it's probably closer to 500. No, probably more than that. I shoot a lot of pucks, so
Yeah, no, like you're probably not counting, but you can tell you shoot a lot of them. Like you got a great shot, and I mean, along with your shot, one thing that stood out to me in the game, and Connor and I have talked about this and about your game last night as well that he caught. It's your work ethic. Like you got hustle all three zones of the ice. For you, where does that drive and that high work ethic and that hustle come from for you?
I just I just I just love burning out every shift, putting everything I have out there and providing for the team.
Well, no, that's a great answer. Yeah. No, he's I mean, like we were talking about that, eh, Connor? Just like that drive is definitely there.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, it's just that drive and that word you just used there is so significant there that you just want to burn out every shift. Because for me, one of my coaches when I was younger, he always said, your shift should be there back, maybe there back again, and you should be off the ice because you're going full out all the time and you're putting that full effort in it. And it's so obvious when you're playing that you got that drive and that hustle and you're burning out because you're putting all that work in on the ice. And I mean that work ethic, as we speak of that, watching you, it contributes to your two-way game as well, I'd say, as a centerman. And I mean, you're one of the leading scorers in the SCTA right now with 14 points in 6 games so far. But I mean, you don't shy away on the defensive end either. Like you're one of the strongest defensive players in the SCTA. And it's just remarkable. I mean, how much emphasis do you place on the being strong on the defensive end? And why is that so important to you?
I just think it's part of the game. Like you need to be strong both ways, and a defense you definitely need to be able to keep the puck out of your net and be able to transition offense quick.
That's great. I mean, as you mentioned that, I mean, watching you, one of the things that stood out is that transition game. I mean, watching the back check that you have, just hunting guys down, just like a dog on a bone there, hunting it down and then transitioning to offense, getting that offense going. And oftentimes when you get the puck, it's probably going in the back of the net too. So I mean, that's incredible. But I mean, just shifting gears a bit here. I mean, I don't know how much you watch the NHL or anything like that, but are there any NHL players you model your game after there?
I definitely try to base my game off Nathan McKinnon, like just the aggressive, amazing player he is. I definitely watch a lot of his highlights just to try to get as close to him as I can.
That is a great comparison. I don't know. There's one goal McKinnon scored one time where he drove up, used his speed, then he cut middle, entered the zone, cut middle, and then ripped a shot, kind of like almost cross body ish. And I watched you do that, a similar type play last night where you just ripped one and it went off the bar there. And the comparison there is unreal. And I think Ryan will agree with me. That's just an amazing comparison there with Nate McKinnon there.
Yeah, no, for sure. And like the thing about McKinnon, I mean, he's a superstar. He's got that great shot and does a lot of things really, really well. But he also plays the game really physically. Like you like to get after it and get a little physical out there and play the body, like let your opponents know you're there. Is that a big part of your game?
Yeah, for sure it is. I like people to know that I'm there.
Yeah, it's sick. Yeah, like you just smoked the guy in the Hamilton game I was at, and I was just like, whoa. Like he couldn't get up for a couple seconds there, and yeah, definitely you took it to them pretty good in that game, and I love it. Like I love the physical play, and I like that you kind of made that like a big important part of your game.
You
But
feel sore just looking at it. I feel sore whenever I watch you like nail a guy. I feel so sore. Like what? I feel sore for the guy. So it's like I feel his pain. But anyways, go ahead, Ryan. Sorry.
No, that's good. That's good. No, it's awesome. It's a huge part of your game. So let's get into some fun ones here. Kind of switch gears and get to know your personality a little bit. So this is an interesting one, and we'll see what you got. If you could swap places with one person and live their life for 24 hours, whether it be a celebrity or an athlete or anybody in the world, really, who would you choose to swap places with?
I gotta go with Sidney Crosby. Definitely like those cups that he's won. That would be amazing. Like I can't even imagine.
Yeah, no, that's a great answer. I mean, Sid the Kid, um, just a legend. Like I love watching him play. Like I got the chance to see him play live a couple times. Once when he was 16, and then the other time when he was 16 at the World Junior Camp, and he made the team. And then the other one was just an NHL game like 4 or 5 years ago, and he's just an awesome guy, like on the ice and off the ice. Like, is he a role model for you?
Yeah, for sure. He seems like just such a great guy. He's definitely a good role model for anyone, really.
Yeah, definitely. Like he's younger than me, and he's a role model for me. So,
Could you imagine like living his life for a day and going and putting on those rings, putting on the gold medals, just the weight that'd be on you, like just the weight on your hand there, like that'd be crazy. I don't. How much do you think that might weigh, man? Like, oh my god, that'd be crazy. But anyways,
yeah, for sure, for sure. Um, and then just a last one here before we let you go. If you could only eat one meal for the rest of your life, what would you eat? What would it be?
I gotta go with chicken and rice.
that's a
Yeah,
nice one.
no,
Is
is that a
that
big like pregame thing for you?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I eat it a lot actually.
Sorry, go ahead, Connor. What were you
no?
gonna
I
say?
was, just took the words right out of my mouth. I was gonna ask, is that your pregame meal? And
Oh,
beauty, like I mean, that's perfect pregame meal. Like
yeah,
chicken and rice, perfect meal right there, Ryan.
yeah. Well, a lot of stars that we had on last year, that was their answer, and they're in the OHL right now doing well. So it's just keep eating that chicken and rice. It'll serve you well. But anyways, that's all we got for you, Hunter. We took up a lot of your time, so thank you so much for jumping on the pod with us, and it was great talking to you, getting to know you. Just best of luck this year with the season with the Halton Hurricanes and at the OHL draft.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, and we're back from our interview with Hunter Mckenzie, forward with the U16 Halton Hurricanes AAA program. And first off, just Hunter, tremendous overall player, complete game, Ryan. I mean, offensively, he's got a lot of tools you love, and then defensively, with his work ethic, we talked about with him, just it all meshes together so nicely. And I mean, we'll start off with the offensive game here with Hunter. I mean, when I saw him last Wednesday, I mean, the shot he has and the way he's able to protect the puck and get that shot off quickly while under pressure was tremendous. And I know you saw him rip one against Hamilton. Just a tremendous shot with Hunter Mckenzie.
Yeah, definitely. Like mentioned it in the interview, just his ability to stick handle in tight spaces and get off shots really quick with not a lot of time. That quick release, that's going to be really key at the next level, at the OHL level, when the puck's in front of the net, it kind of bounces out to you, or like you shoot it, it gets blocked, and then you pick it up, and you got to kind of make that quick move and shoot really quick. Like, I think that like his ability to do that's going to translate really well at the next level, and he's going to be able to get shots off and get goals and pick up pucks and finish. So that's really like a huge strength, I think.
Yo, absolutely. I couldn't agree more with you there. And I mean, you look at it, the way he's able to, the maneuvering in tight space just sets him up for a lot of stuff. But the way he's kind of holds the puck as he enters his zone, he's able to kind of draw guys to him, which then opens up space for him to give the puck to his teammates who are open. The people are his teammates are so, or rather, the opposition are so worried about what he's going to do with it. So he just draws them in, keeps the puck close, and then he can rip it quick or he can hand it off, which is great to see offensively.
Yeah.
But I mean, in addition to that, just the way his physicality, and as I talk about physicality, you've got his ability to hit and knock guys off the puck, but also his stability on the ice, where he's taking hits and he's taking physical pressure and he's not budging, and he's almost reverse hitting them and bouncing off of them, not taking anything, not taking crap, if you will, from anyone else, and he's still keeps chugging along the offensive zone, kind of keeps possession of the puck even when he's under pressure and even when he's taking a hit or whatever, which is great to see, especially in the offensive zone, because it sets himself up nicely to see the ice well and move the puck around with his physicality and ability to maintain possession of the puck there.
Yeah, definitely. He's very physical. He gets after it. He throws huge hits, causes a lot of disruptions, wins a lot of pucks. He scares the D when he's going in there. You can tell like they tense up a bit, and then those hands get a little tight, and they give the puck up to him a lot of the time. And I like what you mentioned about just his physicality and his when you were talking about that and how it translates in the offensive end. I was thinking about his puck protection skills.
Yeah.
They're extremely good. And his ability to kind of like fend guys off. And I don't know, when you're watching Halton, Mckenzie's the best player on the team, in my opinion. And he always garners a lot of attention. There's always two guys on him, and there's a stiff arm here, and then he's kind of like pushing a guy off there. And it's really hard for them to break his stride and to stop that kind of train that's chugging through, right? So I really like him. I like his physical game. He's extremely strong. And you notice that in a variety of different ways. Really, really powerful, high velocity shot. Hits hard. Guys going to the boards hard. They end up on the ground on their butt there. And yeah, like it looks like it hurts. Like it's painful to watch. Like you just feel bad for these guys that are getting like just absolutely smoked by him. And that's great for him. Like, I think OHL teams are going to love him. He's kind of like a throwback guy, but I mean, he's got those nice hands. He's got really strong. He's kind of complete overall. And it's not just in the offensive end, like we mentioned, it's in the defensive end. He works hard. He gets back pressure. Really, really like hard, like heavy lean on his stick.
Yeah.
In those puck battles in the corner, he's winning those puck battles. He's pulling those pucks out, and he's moving and then he's moving it the other way, right?
Oh, you said it perfectly there. The great point you made there about him being a play driver. I mean, I saw him in the loss to Niagara there. He was a huge driver, no matter what. Whenever Niagara was coming offensively, to your point about him getting back on defense, he was hunting that player down. Like I almost say like his life depended on it, and he was taking that puck. And it was just like it was unreal to watch him. Just the defensive plays he was making with his work ethic and his hustle, just taking that puck off the guy, and then the ability to drive the offense by transitioning it and have that transition game and just drive it into the offensive zone is just phenomenal. And he puts himself in the right spots as well in the defensive zone as well. With this game, he can get back, but then once he's back, if he's not able to take it, once that other team has the offensive kind of zone set up there, he puts himself in the right spots where he can kind of pick passes off, or even when his D get it, he could be an outlet option for his teammates there, which is huge as a centerman there, which you love to see. And he's got that. I think for me, when talking to him as well, he's got leadership capabilities too. He's a quieter player, but for me, he's a guy who leads by example type player, which you love to see. Just tremendous from him there. But Hunter Mckenzie is a player. Definitely,
Oh
if you're
yeah.
watching Halton, you want to keep an eye on. I don't think he'll last too long from the draft day. So he's a player I'm looking forward to watching more this season, especially. So we'll see him at the Silver Stick, which will be awesome to see. He's Halton's in a solid group there, which with some teams that will be good games for them. So just once again, thanks so much to Hunter Mckenzie for coming on the podcast, taking the time to talk to us. Just really look forward to watching him some more this season. So. With that being said, though, we'll jump into the next interview we had with the player we had the chance to talk to. From the Toronto Red Wings, this player, U16 AAA program, Amari Sellars, we had the chance to talk to him. Just a tremendous player in and of himself. We got the chance to talk to him after he had a tremendous tournament at the Clash in the YGK tournament in Kingston. So without further ado, here's the interview with Amari Sellars. All right. We are now joined on the U16 pod by star forward Amari Sellars with the Toronto Red Wings U16 AAA program. Amari, how's it going?
All right, how are you guys?
Not bad. Excited to have you on the podcast. I mean, I got the chance to first see you. I know Ryan did as well at the draft day event back in August there. I mean, just you had the chance to participate there and play with and against some of the top prospects in the 06 age group. Just can you talk to us about what that experience was like playing at draft day?
Yeah, it was a great experience. Unfortunately, my team didn't do so well, but yeah, it was great playing against the best of the best. Great hockey. It was like my first really atmosphere with a bunch of scouts and packed crowds. So yeah, it was great.
That's awesome. I mean, I know you guys didn't have the greatest success, but watching you guys play, there's tons of talent and tons of the pace was up and the experience was phenomenal, I'm sure. And I mean, transitioning to kind of more this year and getting into the season, last weekend, you guys had the chance, your team, the Toronto Red Wings, had the chance to participate in a Clash in the YGK tournament that went on in Kingston there. And you guys had a lot of success there. You guys made it to the finals. Tough loss in the finals, but you guys put in a great effort. And just yourself especially as well. You had 10 points in the tournament as well. Just what was that tournament like for you? How do you think yourself played and your team ultimately played in the tournament there?
Yeah, it was obviously a great bounce back from our last tournament. We didn't do the greatest, but yeah, we played. I think we played very well.
I noticed you guys also. I saw on the Red Wings social media, you guys also got to practice a bit on the Kingston Frontenacs home rink there. What was that like?
Yeah, that was sick. Like you really see how big the rink actually is. Like when you're at the games, like the rink looks so small because they're so big, but on the ice, it's like, man, she's like actually really big, you know?
That's sick. I remember playing. I remember when I was younger playing at like those bigger rinks, and you're like, it's like a big eye opener because you're from the stands and it doesn't seem as big, and then you walk in and you're like, you're smaller, and it's like, holy jeez, this place is
Yeah,
actually huge. So
yeah.
that's surreal. And I know Ryan and I are big OHL fans, so seeing you guys get the chance to play on the OHL rink, that was sick, eh, Ryan?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Like to be able to did you guys get a chance to see some of the facilities there and stuff, or did you just get to skate in the ice?
No, because of COVID, we couldn't
Oh,
like go
okay.
in their dressing room and stuff, but we got to see them practice a little bit at the end of
Oh,
their practice. Yeah.
yeah, that's really cool. Nice. Yeah. No, that's great. And like you with your game, like one of the things we really notice, and it's easy to notice because it just pops out right at you, is your skating. Like you're so fast. You have great speed and excellent quickness. I mean, like, how do you like to use that to your advantage in different situations on the ice? That speed and that quickness that you got.
I like to slow the game down and pick it up like as I can. So I kind of model my speed. Like obviously I'm not as fast as McDavid, but the way he changes his speed, like he goes from slow to fast, like really well, tricks his defenders. Like even have you seen his goal yesterday? It was crazy.
Oh,
It was
Oh yeah,
nasty.
yeah,
that was
Yeah,
yeah.
so
dirty.
even there he came in, got speed. slowed down, came through the neutral zone. So I like to try to model my speed after that kind of.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Like you're a great skater. Like you're very fast, but those like kind of changes of pace that you talk about, using those edges that you've got. You've got really great edges, and stops and starts are really fast. So you're able to kind of dart into different situations and I don't know, change up your gears to kind of lose defenders and stuff. It's awesome. Um, yeah, and I mean, along with this excellent skating you've got, it's really apparent you have a high work ethic. Like you really hustle on the ice, and that hard work, like it really shows in your game. Like, where does that drive, like to work hard on the ice and to give that consistent effort? Where does that drive come from for you?
Definitely my trainers in my dry land. You know, I've been working with Kevin Curto for a few years now, and I've been most recently working with Matt Nickel over the past 3 months, skating with the OHL guys and training in his gym. And all that combined just really builds up my work ethic on the ice.
Great. No, it's nice, like a role model there to help you, yeah, find that drive because it's really noticeable on the ice. Like, I mean, you're fast, you're a really hard worker, and those two things are a great combination when you put them together. But if you could use 3 words to describe your game, like any 3 words at all, what would you choose and why?
It's a tough question. I think I would choose compact full, uh, elusive, and deceptive.
Nice,
Those are
nice. Yeah, no,
great.
that's definitely, I mean, Connor would agree. Like, those are probably perfect words, eh, Connor?
Oh, those are
Awesome.
huge words. That elusive word especially. I mean, I
Yeah.
watched you last night. You talked about your speed there, changing the pace, and then the elusiveness there. I watched you in your most recent game, and you just the way you're able to kind of cut quickly and kind of just dodge checks and move into spaces so efficiently and so effectively. Those 3 words are huge. And I love those words there. And then I know you mentioned McDavid earlier, but are are those is he a type of guy you model your game after? Or are there any other type of guys in the NHL you model your game after?
I actually try to model my game after Matt Barzal. Guys like the way he uses edges, quick hands, gets back on defense. Very, very elusive. Like he can change his speed, like all that.
Oh, that's huge. I mean, the resemblance there is huge. I mean, Barzell, just like you mentioned there with the skating and the elusiveness. Plus, I think he's got the work ethic, and just like yourself, he's got that reliable defensively as he keeps getting better and better. That's huge. But I mean, we'll just pivot here a bit. We'll get some fun questions here, some lighthearted questions. Get to know you a bit as well. So, I mean, first off, what is your biggest fear or phobia?
Biggest fear, probably heights. I'm very, very I don't like heights. But
You,
yeah,
have you ever been on the CN Tower there?
no,
No.
not a
So,
chance.
I'm watching this new show. It just came out on Amazon Prime, and it's called Alpine, I think it's called. But the guy free climbs like rocks, and basically it's like he's going straight up. He's climbing ice, all kinds of crazy stuff. So you're probably not gonna be doing that, eh?
I'm not that guy. No.
No. I don't know
Oh,
how he does it. The guy in the documentary said like he filmed the guy for 2 years and it was terrifying to film him. Like he's climbing frozen waterfalls. Like that's not you, eh?
Yeah. No, no, it's not. It's not my cup of tea. No.
Yeah.
that's pretty good. I like that. And then another one here, kind of a completely different type of question. But if you're to go on vacation, or let's say move to another country, let's say you get drafted to the NHL, you're moving, you got to move to the U.S., but you can only bring one of those carry-on size bags. So not like a giant suitcase, but kind of a smaller carry-on size bag. What are the must-have items that you are packing in that carry-on bag?
Like a top three or top five or
Give me like, yeah, top five. Let's go top five. We'll go top five.
um I would have to bring probably some water,
Yeah.
stay hydrated. I'd have to bring my hockey stick, obviously, some shooting tiles, so it's at three. Um, some food, and then and then probably some nice clothes.
There you
Nice.
go. Get the
Yeah.
style going as well. Get the good style going. I notice
Yeah.
I like the shooting tiles too, because underrated part, you get a
Yeah,
sick shot.
can't go without that if you have your stick.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
money. I mean, I saw on the Red Wings social media from the clash in the YGK, you sniped one against I forget who it was against, but you sniped one. So getting those shooting tiles and that shooting to work there, eh?
Yeah, yeah.
That's awesome. But I mean, listen, Amari, you've taken up a lot of your time here, and just, I mean, thank you so much for coming on the pod. Best of luck with the Red Wings. I know you guys are gonna be at the Silver Stick. You got a huge season in the GTHL, so best of luck there. Best of luck in the GTHL, and best of luck the rest of the way, and best of luck at the OHL draft.
All right, thank you guys for having me.
All right, we are back from an interview with Toronto Red Wings forward Amari Sellars. I mean, just tremendous time talking to him. Just first, right off the bat, just a great person off the ice. I mean, getting to interact with him, talk with him, so humble, such a genuinely good person, great person, as well as being a great player on the ice. So, I mean, once again, just thanks so much to Amari for coming on. But I mean, jumping into his game here, Ryan, he had a tremendous clash in the YGK tournament, 10 points in 7 games, really impactful player for them. I mean, I put the highlight up in the video in the interview there where he actually scored the goal that he scored that people saw actually came with 0.1 second left, less than a second left to tie the game for his team in a game there. So big time performer for him, clutch performance from him on there. And I mean, just watching him play, one of the big things that I've noticed. I mean, you and I both got to see him at draft day, and I've seen him in some Red Wing stuff recently, and just one of the big things that I think both you and I have agreed on consistently is the quickness that he plays with and his speed are a huge part of his game. Just the ability for him to move into that open space, and as soon as he gets the puck, because he's in that open space, he can take advantage of it and just go and just burst and get off and create chances for himself with that quickness and speed.
Yeah, he's exceptionally fast. I mean, it was one of those things where I was at the Wendy Dufton, and I don't know how I didn't bring him up after the tournament. I didn't see the Red Wings as much as I'd hoped, so I kind of forgot about him there. But when I was at the Dufton, it was just unbelievable to watch him skate. He's just so fast, and it's not just north south. His north south speed is just run and gun. Like he's the type of guy that like you're gonna lose him every once in a while, and he's gonna be getting those breakaways with that breakaway north south speed. But the thing that I also noticed about him is his east west lateral movement and shiftiness. Like I was talking about that earlier in the pod. We were talking about Parker Forlan and one of his strengths. I see that in Amari Sellars a lot with that jump and those quick feet. He's able to just kind of dart in and out of gaps, and I really love that. I love those quick feet. That it's got that burst and that acceleration and those speed bursts. Like, let's face it, that's so important at the next level for creating separation, for creating space for yourself to make a play. You need to have that. Like, it's crucial, and I think he's got pretty much that and that those skills are really high end right now. If he continues to work on those and improve those, like I think that he could go really far. Like the sky's the limit. You could see him being a pro player one day. He's unbelievable.
Oh, great point there, especially about its East-West game too. I mean,
Yeah.
I talked about the tough game the Red Wings had against the Sens earlier. I mean, there's one play in the game that encapsulates what you just mentioned perfectly, where he picked the puck in space and he was using that speed northwest. And as soon as the D went to kind of cut him off and kind of try to take the puck off him, he showed off his slick hands and that
Yeah.
east-west movement you talked about there. It was like a quick cut, kind of jump cut almost, where he just quick cut and he jumped over the guy's stick, took the puck with him, cut middle, and then boom, ripped a shot on net. Goalie made a great save, give him credit, but he had created a great offensive opportunity. And that's just the type of stuff that he can create with his quickness and his, like you mentioned, his east-west speed and his skating.
Yeah. Yeah, and you mentioned his hands. His hands are excellent. Like his hands keep up with his feet. They're very excellent in terms of his overall skill. And when he's creating that space and doing those like little darts in and out of gaps and whatnot, like he's able to make excellent passes. He's got great vision, hits his spots with the passes, and like in terms of his overall ability on the line there, like playing forward, it's like I'd love to be on his line if I was one of his teammates, because he's
Oh.
always getting open. He's always creating. He's a great passer. He's got great vision. He's not selfish. Great shot. Just an excellent player. Like, just so dynamic offensively and always buzzing in the offensive zone.
Oh, absolutely. Such a great point there. And I mean, as we talk about, his game there offensively as well. I mean, another point we talked about in an interview with him was his work ethic and his hustle and his drive. I mean, he applies that on kind of all both ends of the ice there with his ability to get back, but also really get in on the forecheck, really put pressure on the other team to make a play with the puck, make a pass, make a quick pass here or there. But he really puts it on with his work ethic, and he really credit him. He credited his trainers there, who help him have helped him create that work ethic and that drive. First off the ice, to get in the gym, really work on his really work on his, for lack of a better term, his weaknesses and stuff that he wants to improve on, and he keeps on improving it. He's got that drive to improve, and that's something you really love to see. He's coachable. He's got that drive, and he knows what he's good at, and he knows what he wants to work on, which is huge for a player. And I think OHL teams would love that in a player, Ryan.
Yeah, definitely. Like, and you mentioned the work ethic. He never gives up on a puck. Like 50-50 pucks, he's going to win those battles more often than not. He gets to those pucks first, and he battles hard in the corners. Like, I mean, if there's a puck in the corner and he's in there fighting for it, like, chances are he's going to come out with it. And I loved the part where he wanted to bring up two of his trainers that have helped him a lot over the years and give them credit. And he was giving, like, off interview, he was giving credit to his coach, Anthony Stewart, and all the stuff he's done for him as well. And it's like, he's really grateful for all the people that are helping him with his game and helping him with stuff. And just overall, like, he's a great player, but he's also a great person. And I thought it was just fantastic meeting him. And it was just a pleasure, honestly, to have him on the pod.
Oh, you said it greatly there. I mean, just for me, one of the great things that we talked about with Marty Williamson way back was, I mean, you want a great teammate and a great person in your organization. I think whichever team drafts him, they're getting a great player and a great person, and a great teammate within the organization. I mean, before as we wrap up here with kind of Amari Sellars and the interview we had with him, one of the things I want to touch on as well was just his off puck movement and his off puck way he plays without the puck. A bunch of the stuff I noticed when watching that draft day, especially, was little subtle things he was doing with the stick or kind of his movement with his body to open up space for his teammates. Like, one play was where he was moving ahead of his teammate, and he cuts right in front of the teammate, far enough where he's not like impeding the guy, but he moves in front, and then he kind of lifts the D stick, so he creates like a lane for the guy to either cut middle or move around him, and he creates those little subtle things that you don't notice sometimes, and it's like he's doing those little things where his teammates benefit greatly from what he's doing on the ice as well, which I found enormous.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like, I totally agree with you there about the I mean, when you mentioned his movement away from the puck, that really stood out for me because he hits those gaps well. And talk about being that outlet for a defenseman when the pressure's on. You know, like, sometimes, like, it's hard to get open in that open ice in the neutral zone there, but he's that guy that's getting open. He bails out his defenseman, and they're able to find him. Like, they can just kind of throw a puck anywhere, he'll get it. And yeah, no, like, his movement away from the puck is great. And yeah, like, just a great teammate, great player. Like, he's not a selfish player. He passes the puck. He shoots when he should and passes when he should. And he's got great hockey IQ. He's a great player.
No, absolutely. So, I mean, just with that being said, just once again, just thank you so much to Amari for joining us on the podcast. Really appreciate him taking the time to come on and speak with us and talk about his game. And kind of, it's just kind of, I really liked also talking about the Spirit of Heights there. Just
Yeah.
just the CN Tower stuff. Really, really great talking to him about that. And I gotta say, yeah, I know he hasn't been on the CN Tower, so I don't think he'd be a fan of the glass floor on the CN Tower, because I know my heart beats a bit when I go up there. So
Yeah, I know.
but
I know.
just thank you so much to Amari, and also once again thank you to Hunter Mckenzie for coming on the pod with us. I really appreciate those guys taking the time. So just on that note, thanks so much to everyone for listening. If you're watching on YouTube, thanks so much for taking the time to watch. If you're looking to follow us on social media, you can follow the podcast at the U16 Pod on Twitter and Instagram. You can follow myself on Instagram or Twitter at stwilliams_384. You can follow Ryan at Ryan P. MacArthur. If you want to message the podcast, feel free to email us any inquiries, the U16pod at gmail.com, and we'll look to respond as quickly as we can. But just on that note, once again, thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you next week on the U16 Pod.
Yeah, take care, everybody.